My mom taught me a lot growing up, and that was a big part of it, giving, and just being generous with what God has given you, starting off with, tithing and making sure, 10% of your income, you give it back to God. And, I never did it at a younger age. And then I was always struggling randomly. I'm like, why am I struggling like this with money? And then I saw this thing, this video one time, and it talked about like how to give and like, your first fruit. And it said your first fruit, which is really just the first of what you make before you spend it on anything else. And I'm like, you know what? That's so true, because it's not about just making it your first. The first of stuff is what's on your heart. So it's all about your heart and giving it to God. And if that's your first, then hey, I'll give it to God, because that's the first priority for me. And I started with that, and God started just being faithful. Started showing up in my life, and I don't understand it. Sometimes I'm like, where did I get where I got? And I'm like, well, I know I don't have all these XYZ, education or talent or whatever you might call it. And he just keeps blessing me over and over and over. And the more he blesses me, and the more, even if I don't see a direct blessing, I'm just so faithful to give, because I feel like, it became a part of me. And I almost love to give. And it's funny enough, because then I think about things like this, like the legacy fund, and I'm like, man, like, where did I learn all these values of what I have? And it's from the church, and it's from being a part of that type of community consistently.
Yeah.
Able to show up Bible study on Tuesday, Wednesday prayer meeting, Friday we had youth, and we used to hang out in church. And it wasn't just we go to church to read the Bible. It was, no, we hung out. We would go for food, we would do whatever. And I just see the benefits of that, and I feel like we don't know what that's like yet. And when we do, it's going to be something that is like, man, this is the place to be. So when I look at that, and when I think about like what I have to give and what I can give, I just listen to God.
Yeah.
I hear a number.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I hear a number. I'm like, Kayla, I really think God's telling me that number. And I don't just hear a random number and I stick with it. It just keeps replaying in my mind, and I don't know why. And then I listen. And that's how we give.